Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Tamchalvi, Assistant Professor in the Department of Computer Science and Design at SNS College of Engineering. In this video, we are going to see about entity relationship model from the subject Modern Database Management System. Let's start. So first of all, ER model stands for Entity Relationship Model. Peter Chain proposed ER diagram in 1971 to create a uniform convention that can be used for relational database and networks. By creating ER model in DBMS, it is considered as a best practice before implementing your database. So here I listed some ER diagram symbols and notation. Mainly contains three basic symbols which are rectangle, oval and diamond to represent relationship between the elements, entities and attributes. So here I listed some main components and its symbols in ER diagram. First one is rectangle that represent entity and its types, ellipse that represent attributes, and diamond that represent relationship types, and lines that connect the attributes and entity and make the relationship. And next one is primary key. Primary key that attributes are underlined, and double ellipse represent the multi-value attributes. Next one, components of ER diagram. This model is based on three basic concepts, that is entities, attributes and relationship. Entity is nothing but the person, place, object or event about which data is to be maintained. For example, car, student. And second one is attribute. Attribute refers property or characteristics of an entity. For example, color of an car entity and name of the student entity. The next one is relationship. That makes the association between the instance of one or more entity types. For example, a blue car belongs to student Jack. First of all, we must know what is entity. A real world thing, either living or non-living, that is easily recognizable and non-recognizable. It is anything in the enterprise that is to be represented in our database. Simply, every entity is made up of some attributes which represent that entity. Let's consider these examples. If the person is the entity, then we can represent employee, student, or patient. And if we mention the entity as place, it can be a store or building. If the entity is object, it can be a machine, product, or car. If the entity is event, it can be sale, registration, and renewal. And last one, if the entity is concept, it can be account or course. Next one, difference between strong and weak entity. Strong entity mainly independent of other entities, and it has a unique identifier and a single represented using a single line rectangle. Whereas weak entity that depend on another entity, that is strong entity, and does not have a unique identifier. Weak entity is represented with double line rectangle in ER diagram. Consider this example. In this ER diagram, customer is the strong entity and loan is the weak entity that represented using double rectangle. And we make the relations between the customer and loan using the relation borrow. And customer ID has the attributes CID and C name. And loan has the attributes loan name and loan date. Next one, attributes. An attribute is the property or characteristic that describe an entity, like a student having the register number, age, and its name. DBMS have different types of attributes. For example, single value attributes, multi-value attributes, composite and derived, stored attribute, recurrent attribute, null, and attribute can be a key value and simple and complex value. Next one, cardinality. Cardinality defines the relation between two or more entities and entity sets. We have so many types in cardinality ratio, that is many to many and many to one, one to many and one to one. Let's consider this example. First one to one. One person can have a one passport. That is, each and every person has its own passport. And second example, one to many. One customer can place n number of orders. This is the example for one to many. Next one, many to one. Consider this example. In a particular hospital, multiple surgeries are done by a single surgeon. Such a type of relationship is known as many to one relationship. Then many to many. In a particular company, multiple persons, that is multiple employees, work on a multiple projects. They serve many to many relationship. So here I listed some steps to create ER diagram. The first step is entity identification, and second one is relationship identification, and third step is cardinality identification, fourth one identify attributes, and finally we can create our entity relationship diagram. Let's see one by one. Consider this example. In a university, a student enrolls in a course. A student must be assigned to at least one or more courses. Each course is taught by a single professor, and to maintain instruction quality, a professor can deliver only one course. So consider this example. So you have to create ER diagram. So as I said earlier, we have 5 steps in creating ER diagram. The first step is entity identification. Second step is relationship identification. Third step, cardinality identification. And in fourth step, we are identifying the attributes. And finally, we are creating ER diagram. Let's create. The first step, entity identification. We have 3 entities, that is student, course, and professor. We have to create 3 entities. And the second step is relationship identification. We have the following 2 relationships, that is the student is assigned to the course and the professor delivers a course. We have 2 relationships, that is assigned and deliver. And in third step, we have to identify the cardinality. For them, problem statement, we know that a student can be assigned multiple courses and a professor can deliver only one course. And in the fourth step, we have to identify the attributes. The entity student has the attribute student ID and student name. Here, student ID is the primary key. And then in the entity professor, employee ID and professor name are the attributes. We set the employee ID as the primary one. And in third entity, that is course. Course ID and course name are the attributes. We are going to set the course ID as a primary key. Final step, we have to create the ER diagram based on this. So a more modern representation of ER diagram example here with the entity student with the attributes student ID and student name, and the student is assigned to the course with the attributes course ID and course name. Again, the course delivers by the professor, professor with the attributes employee ID and professor name. So finally, we are creating the ER diagram. Here are some best practice or example for developing effective ER diagrams. In first one, we have to eliminate redundant data, that is entity or relationship. And second one, we must properly label the entities and the relationship. And third point, we must support all the data you need to store. And then fourth step, each entity only appears a single time. And we must name every relationship, entity or attributes. And finally, we can use colors to highlight the important portions of our ER diagram. So just pause the video and try to answer this assessment questions. So here I add textbook and reference for your reference.